Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Before I get to our guests here today, I'd like to remind everyone that if you enjoy this content, to please give a like and subscribe down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. We have Brooke Baker on the podcast. She's coming to us all the way from California, and I'm just jealous just even saying that fact. She co-owns BNB Fitness, and we'll be talking to her about her health and fitness journey as well as running BNB Fitness. But most importantly, she's our current guest. Brooke, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, now I'm gonna, just make myself feel horrible, but I always ask, what is the weather like in California right now?
It's sunny, but to us Californians, it's cold. It's about 60 degrees here. So I have the heater on and go outside and I get all bundled up because I was born and raised here. So thin blood.
I got my world's smallest violin going just because of the, but no, I mean, just, yeah, it makes me feel better knowing that at least in some parts of the country, people are warmer. But before I depress everyone with my winter woes, because I could do a whole entire 10 episode podcast on that, why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory on what inspired and what motivated you to get in shape and how that led to, B&B Fitness?
Okay, well, it kind of starts out as a sad story because I was married for a very, very long time. I met my husband, my ex-husband now, when I was 20 years old, got married when I was 22, and had known him for 30 years, and all of a sudden he said, bye. So it was devastating to me. I had a very hard time accepting it. It was somebody, this man that I had known for 30 years that I trusted, that I thought was going to be there through thick and thin, through good and bad, sickness and in health, blah, 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 all that, happy marriage fairy tale thing. And he left. So and before that, I should preface this by saying before that, when we were married, we used to work out together. I did a whole aerobics, tons of aerobics. I did the whole step, classes and the Stairmasters and the treadmills and the walking and the running and all that kind of stuff. But I had never lifted before. So anyway, when he left, I got really depressed. I went into a total depression and actually stopped eating. I stopped eating. I stopped working out. I stopped doing all the normal things that I was doing. And I became very frail, very thin, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, all that kind of stuff. Well, I went on a dating website and I ended up being contacted by this man who was a bodybuilder. And I thought, oh, he looks fun. I'm just going to go out and have some fun, whatever. And I met him on a date and we started dating. And he said to me, he goes, I own a gym. Why don't we start working out together? I said, okay. I mean, little did I know what turned into a let's just start working out together. Now I'm co-owner of the gym. We are engaged. I work out basically 4 to 5 days a week. I lift. I don't just do in fact, I don't really do much aerobics at all. It's more lifting now. And at 53, yes, I'll say it, I'm 53, I have muscle. And I've never, ever had muscle. I've never been toned like this before. I've never felt this confident before. And I tell everybody, especially women, especially older women, women over 40, you can do it. I didn't start lifting until I was 50 years old. So it's never too late. And it's never too late to go to the gym and do what you can because I did it. I'm living proof.
That's awesome. Show us the guns. She's 53 years old, everyone. Look at that. That's just unbelievable. Okay, that's not, if that isn't benefits of working out, I don't know what is. I mean, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I love asking that question because we hear so many stories on here of, different ways that people have gotten to shape. But a question that I ask all of my health and fitness guests is that, if you were to walk into a gym with 100 people, there's 100 different ways as to how those people got into shape, whether it comes down to, their diet, their nutrition, how many reps they do, what exercises they do. So many little things add up to the overall package that people end up seeing. And a lot of people don't realize that because so many people go up to someone and say, hey, what'd you train for this body part? It looks amazing, but what works best for that person 99% of the time is not going to work as good for you. What was that like for you when you finally started lifting weights and working out in the gym aspect with the weight training? What was that like, sort of figuring out what worked best for your body?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I started working out right away with a bodybuilder. So, and my fiance is, he's won awards. He's a big guy and he works out for bodybuilding, specifically muscle building. So when I first started working out, I didn't really know anything better. He came in and he started having me do his routine. So usually when you go in, now that I know better, I'm certified, I'm a certified trainer now. He went in having me do 4 sets of each body part, 15 to 20 reps each set. And normally you don't do that when you first start. Normally, when you go into a gym, you do maybe 3 sets, maybe 12 reps each set. But I started doing his routine. So I just jumped right into a bodybuilding routine and it ended up working for me because I started gaining muscle and I started doing stuff like that. Now, and we talked about this a little bit earlier too. Everybody says, well, aren't you afraid of getting big and getting huge? And I said, no, there's no possible way a woman, even a man, can get huge work doing this. You get huge eating cupcakes. You don't get huge building muscle, especially women. They will not get huge. They'll get to a certain point, and really that's about all you can do. So I didn't never worried about that, but it ended up working for me. But now that I'm a trainer and I'm a personal trainer, you're right. Everybody's different. And so you have to do what works for them. But I just jumped right into the bodybuilding routine.
No, and yeah, I mean, I always find it funny where, I mean, I always say it's kind of like, you're kind of like a mad scientist where you're just concocting your own potion just to see what works best for you. And it's so much trial and error. And I always think it's funny where, especially in my generation, where everyone wants everything now and they want it yesterday. I mean, so many people do not understand that for the health and fitness lifestyle, that is not a possibility. I mean, you're not going to go into the gym one time and then figure out, exactly what works best for you, where it takes so much trial and error, which I think is why a lot of people my age struggle with that, because they are just so used to getting everything, next day delivery, everything just so quick and so fast, where this is definitely a thing where you are going to have to put a lot of time in. But one thing that I love to ask too, because I always find that, people's genetics are different, and it's a great thing because so many times we go on Instagram and there's people that always say like, oh my God, I want her legs or I want his arms or yada yada. But people don't realize that you cannot look like that. You can just look like the best version of yourself. But when people start working out, there's always that one body part that really, really takes off for them, and that one body part that really lags behind, that they just have to train to oblivion to get to catch up to everything else. I mean, I'll give you mine. I mean, my back, just because I had a job all throughout college of working in warehouses where you either got a really nice back or you quit. But I'm also 6'3", so my legs and my lower body are just shot, where I have to train it into overdrive just to get to look like any semblance like I work out legs. I still have those friends in the gym that still say, oh, hey, Ryan, you plan on working legs anytime this year? And it's like, dude, you saw me train legs yesterday. And calves don't even get me started. I always said I could inject pure muscle into my calves and they wouldn't gain an ounce. But what were those body parts for you when you were getting started?
Well, I think my shoulders and my arms are one of my best body parts, and I do love working shoulders only because I think my shoulders got really defined very quickly, and so did my arms. Of course, I'm a woman, so my lower body, like my glutes were difficult to. I never had a tush. I was always very flat genetically. I always was very flat, and I always wanted some roundness to my bottom. And finally, probably after 2 years of working my butt, I finally have one, and I have something that looks better in pants and shorts. But so yeah, it's my shoulders. I think are my the highlight, the best body part of mine. And my butt has gotten better now. But it was difficult. It was very difficult. And yes, and a lot of women say to me, "Oh, how do you? I want your abs, or I want this, or I want that." And it is difficult. You can't just go in the gym and work out for a month and then be, Miss Olympia. You have to work at it, and it's a long process, and it's a consistent process. You have to go at least 3 times a week, and you have to pay attention to your diet as well. So it's not just working out, it's also your diet. So yeah.
I was gonna say her traps too. Are just popping out. It's like they can barely fit in the screen too. So that's
Yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah.
that's definitely one thing. And I love asking that question because so many people's body parts are different. We have such a wide variety of answers. We even had one woman who I asked that, and she put her cat up on the table, and I was like, okay, this podcast is over. I'm done talking to you. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous because it just shows the wide variety and difference that can happen. But when you were getting started too, what was your nutrition like before you really started working out with weights, and did you change it up at all once you started the weight training?
Oh yeah, definitely changed. I was a big pasta eater. I loved rice. I loved to snack on, like, I buy like Snickers bars, and I know it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. But I would do everything in moderation. I didn't eat the whole bag of Snickers, and I didn't eat a whole bag of pasta. But now, and also I have to say this, that when I was eating like that, I had really bad stomach issues. You know, I would feel bloated all the time. I didn't feel good. I felt lethargic. I felt, and I've basically given up all simple carbs. So, kind of like a keto type of a thing, but I've given up all pasta, all rice, I don't even eat fruit because it has too much sugar in it. I eat meat, I eat chicken, I eat, beef, I eat turkey, I eat all that kind of meat. I eat a lot of vegetables. I snack on hard boiled eggs or almonds. I love almonds, or, just veggies and dip, or veggies and hummus and stuff like that. So yeah, and not only did it help me build muscle, but it helped my stomach issues. I don't have as many stomach issues, and I don't feel as bloated anymore. And another thing I do is I portion myself. I used to eat until I was like, oh, until I was stuffed. And now once I start feeling full, I stop. I say, okay, I'm starting to feel full. I don't need this anymore. And especially in America, when we go out to eat and they give us these huge portions, I cut it right then and there. Right when I get my food, I cut it in half. I put the other half away, or I tell them to bring me a doggy bag and I put it in a doggy bag, or I give it to my fiance and say, here, you eat it, because he's a big guy. He eats a lot. And I only eat half, and I take the rest home. So I just eat until I'm full. And that has helped me a lot too. It's helped me manage what I eat. I don't count calories. Um, I know a lot of people count their calories, they count their protein and stuff like that. I don't do that. I just eat until I'm full. I eat clean, try to eat clean. Of course, I cheat every once in a while. I love, who doesn't love an In-N-Out burger, with French fries and a shake?
I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go to In-N-Out Burger because I've always heard that it's really, really good.
It is really, really good. And, I still go sometimes and I won't eat it with the bun. It's called protein style, so you don't get it with the bun. But I'll go and, every once in a while, yes, I will eat it with the bun, and I'll get a chocolate shake, and I'll get the French fries. You can't deprive yourself of everything either. But I just don't do it every day, and maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. It's my special day to eat something like that. And to be honest with you, I don't miss it. I don't miss it because I feel so much better. It makes me feel so much better to eat like this.
Well, and I say too, that's a great way to have it because, yeah, you can't go your whole entire life without treating yourself because it's just not going to be possible. We've had people that have tried that. So just in moderation. So when you were starting this whole transition into your life, I mean, I always say the mental impact is so much more potent than the physical aspect because you can convince your body to work out, but just the mental aspect of it can be so hard. Was that a difficulty for you, just having that whole mental adjustment to this new lifestyle?
It was a little bit, because I had always worked out. I didn't lift, but I had always gone to the gym and I'd always done stuff like that. It wasn't as hard for me. And another thing is, because I had a partner to work out with, and sometimes that helps a lot because this person is relying on you to show up, is relying on you to get a good workout. And we have a lot of fun together. And I think having a partner, or even going to a gym that you really, really like, and let's put it this way. I don't really work out at my gym because we don't want to work out where we work. So we leave our work and we work out at Gold's, a gym called Gold's. And we usually get there at the same time every morning. So we see the same people. And these people have become our gym family. You walk in, hey, everybody calls us BNB because I'm Brooke and my fiance's Brandon. Hey, BNB, high fives, and we're walking in. And it's just such a family. It becomes a family. If you go around the same time every day, even if you're by yourself, if you go the same time every day, you'll start noticing that those are the people that go every day, and those are the people that are going to motivate you. If you have a bad day, or if you're not having a good gym day, or you don't feel like lifting, or your muscles are sore, or whatever, they're there to help you. And someone's always there to spot you, and someone's always there to pick you up. And I think if you're not having a good day mentally, they're there to help you. Gym people are great. They really are. And they don't care if you're fat, you're thin, you're yellow, green, orange, blue, whatever. I mean, they're there to help, and they're just glad that you're there at the gym working out. you know?
I always say too, it's such a great and positive community, which is why I wanted to start interviewing people that go to the gym because I mean, so many people don't talk about that, but it is a tight knit community and people really do care about each other. But one of the things that I think impacts women so much more positively than men when it comes to working out, especially the weight training, is the confidence boost that it gives you. I mean, we have heard hundreds of stories on this podcast of women who have made life changing decisions. It's helped them maybe be more assertive. It just helped them in every single aspect of their life. And I always say that that is the one thing that you can take from the gym and use to impact your entire life. How have you taken that confidence boost that working out's given you and impacted your life with it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, because of the divorce, when I was going through the divorce, I had such low self esteem and I had such low confidence at the time. And I just didn't know how I was going to come out of it. Any women out there who have been married for a long time, whose husbands have left, can probably relate. It's just devastating. It's kind of like a death in the family almost. And I don't know if I would have come out of it as quickly as I did if I didn't have the gym, if I didn't work out because and now I have my own Instagram account. I post pictures that I would never ever think I would have posted especially at my age, you know? And I'm posting pictures that 23-year-olds post of my body in a bikini. And I would never ever have done that. I would never have become a personal trainer. I went to UCLA. I have a degree in sociology. I was in the corporate world for a very, very long time, and I never want to go back to the corporate world. I love being a personal trainer. I love it, and I would never have done that. It's the best job I've ever had in my entire life. I'd never have the confidence to do that if I didn't start working out and gaining the confidence that I have to teach other people to do the same thing. And especially women, I want, women to know that first of all, it's never too late. And second of all, yes, it gives you great confidence. I had a woman contact me because I had suffered with anxiety all my life. As a child, I had suffered from anxiety. And she said, what were some of the things that helped you get through it? And I said, actually, working out helps a lot because you gain confidence and confidence helps you come out of any anxiety issues that you have. So, because I had suffered from anxiety as a child all the way up, I'll never ever completely get rid of it, but I can manage it so much better now than I ever had in my entire life. So that's another reason, a good outcome that's come out of working out.
Well, I also too suffer from anxiety, and I bet most people wouldn't believe that because I run a podcast and I talk to strangers all the time and I connect with them. But yeah, I do too. And yeah, just working out has really helped me in that department as well. So I could not praise that enough. But at what point in your journey did you decide that you wanted to help out others and become a personal trainer?
It was about a year ago because I got certified in February last year. February last year, I decided. What happened was is I had a job, a corporate job, and I got laid off. And the funny thing about this was the day before I got laid off, because I had been thinking about getting certified because I loved working out so much and I wanted to help other people feel the way that I felt. The day before I got laid off, I called Brandon, my guy, and I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get certified. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through NASM. I'm going to do the whole thing. And the next day I got laid off from my job. So it was kind of like the universe telling me that this is what this was my calling and this is what I should do. So, and that was last February. So last year. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And what would you say separates BNB Fitness more than your average workout place?
Well, first of all, we only do personal training there. So it's not a gym that you can, have a membership to, that you come and you work out. We only do personal training. We have many trainers there that train their clients there. It's a very small boutique type of gym. We're family run. It's not it's not in whatchamacallit, like all these other fitness places out there that 24-hour, or all those other fitness places out there that are corporate owned. We're a family run fitness facility. So there's no other one like it out there. We're located in North Hollywood, California, where they call it NoHo, and it's a very hip area. So, so that's what makes it different than most other places to work out.
And I love asking this to personal trainers because so many times on Instagram, we see the stories of people that, have lost a ton of weight and just how positive that's been for them. We see their story and we hear their story, but we never hear what it's like for the personal trainer. What is that feeling like for you, knowing that you've really helped out someone improve their life and that you've really made a big difference?
That's one of the reasons why I love this job so much. I have one of my clients that she sends me pictures all the time. Look at my guns, or she'll say, I wore a bikini the other day, the first time in 5 years I've worn a bikini, and I feel so confident about myself. And let me tell you, it's like you get this big smile on your face and you go, okay. And you know what? Some people like, well, it's not all about the body. Well, you know what? No, it's not all about the body, but sometimes it has to start with the body in order to connect in your brain to go, okay, I look good. So that makes me feel good inside. And when you feel good inside, you project more confidence. It's just a big circle. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And two of the questions that I love to ask all the health and fitness guests that I have on as well. I mean, there's so many positive things that happened to me when I started working out and getting in shape, but the one negative thing is that you're going to get asked to move a lot of people's furniture. You're going to get asked to open a lot of pickle jars or bottled water or anything that's sealed on tight. You're the go-to strength guy. I mean, I'm
Yep,
still at home
yep.
with my parents for the next 2 months before I move out, and every single time they come in with groceries, I basically have to lift the car into the driveway and carry in the groceries for them. Has that been a similar experience with you? I mean, even though I know your age, but just looking the way that you look, and if you're dressed like you are right now, I mean, if I were struggling with something, I'd say, okay, Brooke, come over here and help me. Do you get that a lot?
I actually don't. It's probably because I'm a woman. So, as a matter of fact, I have a funny story. I was at the store the other day and I bought maybe 7 items. And the lady put the items in the bag, and it was summertime. It was this past summer. So I was wearing a tank top, okay? And she puts the items in the bag and she looks at me and she says, "Do you need any help out with this?" And I said, I think I got it. It was hilarious. But my girlfriends will sometimes tease me if they can't open a jar or something like that. They'll say, "Brooke, come on, muscle woman, come over here and open it for me."
You have the best of both worlds then. You can have the muscles and not have to worry about getting asked to do it, because I always say it's a double-edged sword for me being 6'3", where I could have zero muscles at all and I'd still get asked, where I mean, so either way that's something that I have to deal with. But hey, I like it. I enjoy it, but sometimes it can get tedious. But let's be honest, you're not the average looking 53-year-old woman. I always like to say, if you're really muscular and if you're a guy or a girl and you go walk out in public, I mean, you're going to get stares because you almost turn to sort of like a mini celebrity. What has that been like to you, sort of adjusting to that you might get stares and people might pay more attention to you with this look?
Yeah, it's definitely happened. And it's funny that you asked me that too, because when I first met my guy, he's a big guy. And we would go out and he always gets all the looks. The women would look at him, the men would look at him, everybody would be like, "Oh, no, look at that guy. He works out." And people would come up to him all the time. "Oh, do you go to the gym? Ha ha ha. Oh, do you work out?" And here I am, who was just starting to work out. And I was like, I'm not getting anything. So, and then finally, when my muscles started showing a little bit more. Now, a lot of people come up to me and say, "Hey, you look great." Or, "Would you work at same thing? Where do you work out? What do you do?" And I don't know. And my fiance said to me, he goes, "This is like A Star Is Born. You know that movie Star Is Born?" He goes, "I was the star." He goes, "And now you're the star." And I said, "Well, you do it because you work hard and you want results and you want people to notice." But yeah, it's been it is kind of funny because we'll walk in, we go to this dance place near our house a lot. And we walk in and because here I walk in with this huge guy and now I've got muscles and all eyes go, turn. And it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of strange at first.
I mean, I can't imagine what that must be like, because I kind of remember it in college a little bit when I was a little bit more muscular. I couldn't even go into bars without getting asked to arm wrestle all the time. I mean, it's just something that
Yeah.
I had to deal with. But my favorite question to ask, and my audience favorite, because I mean, I always say fit guys. Now your fiance, he probably knows it best. Where I mean, fit guys have problems when it comes to clothing, just finding clothes for him to wear. Because I'll throw a picture up of him just to show what he looks like to everyone. But fit women, it can be even harder to find clothes that work for you, because I always say, the moment you said that your shoulders were the first thing that really took off, I always said, "Oh, well, dresses aren't your best friend then if you have really big, broad shoulders." I mean, jeans are another thing that we hear of all the time, where it's almost impossible to wear if you have a big lower body and a small waist. What have been some ways that you have found to sort of compensate for the fact that your clothing options can be very limited at times?
Well, I haven't really run into that as much, only because I right now I feel like jeans and pants fit me a lot better than they used to because I never used to have a butt. So, and now I do. So when I put on jeans or I put on like leggings or something like that, I'm like, oh, okay, I fill this out a little bit more than I used to, and I like it, and it looks good. Sometimes, yeah, shirts I would normally wear like an extra small or a small, especially because I'm so little on top. But some now I've had to find me getting larger tops, and it's because of yeah, it's because of my shoulders. They're a little bit wider. So you know how women are like, oh, but we don't want to go up in size, or we don't want to go up in weight. And I've also gained weight. That's another thing I want to say because when I started gaining muscle, I started gaining weight on the scale, and it's not a bad thing. It was I lost fat and I gained weight. So going up in a size shirt was okay because I knew it was because my shoulders were getting bigger. So I didn't. I'm a little older also, so it didn't freak me out as much. But if you're a young girl, whatever, it might freak you out. Don't let it freak you out. It's what you look like, not how much you weigh or what the size is that you're wearing. It's how you look and how you feel.
You're like our 25th woman who's, past 50 that looks amazing. What advice do you have for women in their 50s to get into shape? Because for so many of our guests that I've had on, they've started that late in their life and they've been able to accomplish it. But so many people, I think, once they reach that age, especially women, they sort of give up and they just say, "Hey, this is what it's going to be until I die." But what advice do you have for people, especially women in their 50s, just to get started in the gym when they might be feeling like, what's the point?
Yeah, I would say for me, it was lifting weights rather than cardio. A lot of women think, oh, they got to do cardio because they've got to burn the fat. They got to burn the fat. I would say start lifting weights, and you can do little weights, 5 pounds. Start doing 5 pounds. If you can afford to, get a personal trainer because then you're paying for it, you're accountable for it. They're going to teach you how to do it and what to do, and you can tell them this is what I want. I want biceps. I want more of a round butt or whatever it is, and stick with it. And don't get discouraged because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But I would say if you stick with doing weights or like type lunges, exercises like that, squats, lunges, lower body workouts, I would say to stick with that rather than focus on cardio all the time. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And we are also a week past New Year's. What is BNB Fitness like for the New Year's resolutioners? You guys really get caved in, or what's the business like for you guys in January?
Yeah, it's pretty big. I call the people who just come after New Year's resolutionaries because they're making all these resolutions, and yeah, and then by mid-February it calms down a little bit, but
Well, that's the
it's
that's
too
the
bad.
that's the sad thing because I see so many people talk about, like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to get better, but it's like they did a study and it's like only like 10 to 20% of them like actually follow through with their goals and actually accomplish it because so many people just walk in there. Or from another guest that on, he made a really good point where he's like, just set those goals in advance because if you just go to the gym like on day one and you're like, okay, here are my goals, then as soon as you get there, have those goals in the back of your mind, I think would really help out people. But if we were to talk to you a year from today, where would you like to be at in your life? Where would you like to be at, with the gym? What are some goals that you'd like to have accomplished if we were to talk to you again a year from today?
I would love to open another gym, and I live a little bit far from the gym that I work at. So I would love to open a gym closer to my home and have two gyms going, and I would run one, and my fiance would run the other one. And it'd be at the same type of a gym. It would be a training gym. We would have trainers there, maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit more elaborate gym here. So I would love to do that. So.
That's awesome, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in that. But a body part that I mean every guy wants and a lot of females want is biceps. What do you train for biceps? Because that's a question that I get asked all the time in the comments down below. It's like, why don't you ask the guests how they got those arms? So I have to start asking it now. So what did you train for biceps, or what does your bicep split look like?
I do biceps once or twice a week. And the main day when I do biceps, I do some sort of a curl. I do hammers, and then I do a preacher. So you lean over and do this. And then on the day where on the second day when I do biceps, it's usually just one set of maybe 20. Oh, and I usually do about 20 reps, unless I'm going up in weight. If I'm going up in weight, then I do 20 reps the first set, and I do 4 sets. I might do 18 reps the second set, 15, and then if I go really heavy, I'll only do 12. Um, so I usually do 4 sets, and then I'll do, with the reps, and then I move on to another 4 sets and do the reps and to another. And so I do 3 of those. And then like I said, on the days that I just kind of throw biceps in there, it's just 1 set, and I go lighter weight and I do 20 reps, sometimes 25 to 30 reps. So, yeah.
Well, as we saw before, it clearly works. So, I mean, I highly recommend everyone go and give that a try. But I mean, one of the training techniques that I really started before I even started this podcast, but it's been even more affirmed on this podcast because so many people, swear by it, is time under tension. Do you like to do a lot of time under tension in your training?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like the slow movements where like you're really, really feeling the feeling.
Yeah. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Normally don't do that. No.
Hey, that's why I love asking that, because we have a variety of answers on the podcast too. A lot of people say yes and a lot of people say no. And it's just like everything else in the fitness industry. I mean, we have people that follow keto. We have people that follow, if it fits your macros. I mean, there's so many things out there. And again, you're leading me perfectly into my next question, because like I said, there's so many things out there. I mean, it seems like there's like 1,000 different ways that get unleashed every single day into the fitness industry. How do you find your way, or how do you wade your way through that? Because so many people, I think, can get lost in the fact that, I mean, if they just stop and listen, they're going to get flooded with so many different techniques that people have, or so many different ideas. How do you like to sort of block that out so that you're able to just know what works best for you?
Well, you go on Instagram and there's a lot of people posting all these different ways to work your glutes. So, like you said, all these different ways to work your biceps, all these different. But because I was trained kind of old school from my fiance, literally, I don't get really fancy. And, doing squats or lunges are perfectly fine for getting your butt into shape. And doing all these other fancy exercises are great. And it's probably, it gets you out of the routine of just doing squats and lunges, but it does the same thing as squats and lunges. So I'm very old school when it comes to stuff like that. And also, I don't want people to get frustrated when they go on Instagram and they say, well, I want to work my biceps, or I want to work my glutes, or I want to, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that exercise, So a lot of times what I do is when I post on Instagram, I do it kind of like, glute 101. And I start out very elementary, and I say, this is, what you do a lunge, do a squat, and very, very elementary, because there's so many advanced exercises out there that I don't want people to get discouraged, especially women my age, maybe who are just starting out, or they don't know what to do, and they're looking at that going, I don't know if I can do that. So I like to keep it real simple. So
if you could change one thing about the health and fitness lifestyle, what would it be?
If I can change it, I don't know. I would think that it would be more a focus on being healthy. I don't know. I think a lot of women, especially when they compete, they feel like they have to be skinny, 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 and they have to be big up here and little here, and there's certain this, and I don't know. I think it should be more focused on your health when you're competing, rather than just what your body looks like. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's why I always say too, when the people walk up on stage, they're at their unhealthiest, basically, of their entire journey. And that's one thing that I love to preach about, that, because so many people are like, oh, they look so great and I want to look like that. And it's like, but you don't want to feel the way that they're feeling. You might want to look the way that they're looking, but the feeling that they have, I mean, that's just a whole different podcast in and of itself. Yeah, it's that was really eye-opening for me too, because I was just like the general public really before I started this podcast and really getting in depth with bodybuilders. Then I finally realized it's like, hey, it's just like everything else in life. You take it with a grain of salt, and you never know,
The women who compete don't eat, and it just makes them, it's not very healthy. They aren't very healthy at all. But they have to be that way in order to win. And it's kind of sad. And a lot of people say to me, oh, you should compete. Well, I just don't want that. I don't want to get that I don't want to not be able to eat, and I don't want to get unhealthy. And especially, at 53 years old, I want to stay healthy. So, yeah.
Oh, and that's 100%, all about it. Because yeah, we so many bodybuilders, they have a lot of short-sightedness where they do stuff that's gonna make them great for the next year, but then 20, 30 years down the road, that's just a whole different story again in and of itself. But so B&B Fitness, how can people get a hold of it if they want to get a workout in? Do they just call, or can they just stop by and sign up? What's the process like to get into B&B Fitness?
Well, like I said, you need to have a trainer. So you need to be trained by me or by Brandon or by one of the trainers that are at our gym. But you can just walk in and you can say, hey, I saw Brooke on, Ryan's podcast, and I want to train with her. So or you can follow me on Instagram, which is 50_50_fitness, the number, not the word. And follow me and see if you like me or you like what I do. You can just walk into B&B. We're on Yelp. You can find us on Yelp. We don't have a website yet, but we're working on that. Or you can call me, message me.
You need to change your Instagram to 5353, because that's even more impressive than 5050. That's you gotta keep updating that. But
that's harder to say.
Oh, that true. But
yeah.
But I mean, being that I'm in a super cold winter climate, it's really depressing. I love to ask this question for people that are in the warmer climates. Now, I should say, warm for you, 60 degrees isn't warm, but being that you're in a climate that is, by my standards, very warm all year round, do you ever feel that extra added pressure to look like you're in shape year round? Because so many people that I talk to from California, they talk about that pressure where, I mean, it's sunny all the time and everyone's, it's never really sweater weather there. So a lot of people feel that pressure. Do you feel that pressure at all?
Oh yeah. It's not only the weather, it's everybody's beautiful out here. I live in Southern California. I live right near Hollywood. My gym is in North Hollywood. I live in the movie capital of the world. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's gorgeous. Everybody has a great body. Everybody's fit. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of people where I live are. So, oh my God, there's tremendous pressure, tremendous. So yeah, and it's not just the weather. It's everybody's beautiful.
That's my brother lived in California for 1 year, and that's the one thing that he came back to save money because it's just so expensive there. But like he was even telling me, it's like, yeah, it's incredible. You see like 70-year-olds that look like they're like 30 just because of all the stuff. But it's, yeah, I can't imagine what that must be like. But is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to before we wrap things up?
Probably my guy, because he's the one that got me into this, and he's my biggest cheerleader. Tells me every day how proud he is of me, and he tells me every day how beautiful I am and how sexy I am, and he can't believe the way that I look now, and he tells me I'm beautiful inside and out. So thank you, honey.
Well, and I'll even add to that saying that I'm 25 and you look like some of the girls that I hang out with at 53. So just keep it up, keep it going, and keep inspiring everyone. I mean, I love what you're doing. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I mean, I love people that can really prove, at any age you can get into shape, because I mean, it's so easy for someone my age to get into shape, but when you get that, I mean, just to maintain and just keep spreading that positivity. And if anyone, again, if you're interested in B&B Fitness, I'll leave a link to it down below. I'll leave a link to her Instagram page and everything else. And if you're interested in that, definitely let her know, because it's all about spreading that positivity, especially that we're in a new decade. Everyone wants to get in shape now and everyone wants to be fit, so we found a good way to do it. So if you're in the Southern California area, definitely go look into that. And again, Brooke, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for contacting me, Ryan. I appreciate it as well.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I love having guests come on, and as you can tell, I'm a very talkative person myself, so this helps get a lot of my words out of the day. So I can power down a little bit, after this. But yeah, again, I really, really appreciate having you on. And this is Ryan Johnson, DD on the spot, signing out. Have a great day, everyone.